You mentioned your alt MBA. What have you learned doing that? What were you wrong about? What were you right about? What surprised you?
So I was surprised after we ran the first one as an experiment. The goal was the typical online course has a 97% dropout rate. And I said, if this is the future of learning, that's not going to be acceptable. What would I change to fix that? And I did the opposite of every other online course in like 6 different areas. Like no video of me, and you have to apply to get in, and it's not free, and this and that. And we have a 97% completion rate and a 3% dropout rate, which is really great. So after the first one, which was an experiment, I said, I'm really surprised. I got a lot of these pieces right. We should do it again. And now we're on our 38th session because it's working. The thing that has surprised me by far is how people talk themselves out of applying to it. That the logic and the rationale and the excuses, they run so deep. Because if you go to Harvard Business School or Stanford, where I went, you can tell everybody what you did. And it costs $250,000 in tuition and opportunity cost, and it's worth it because you get to tell other people what you did. And that's really what you're buying. And this, which costs 1/60th the amount of money, it's hard to tell other people because we intentionally made it hard to talk about. What exactly is it? Where's the curriculum? Where's all the proof? Where's the accreditation? We don't have any of those things. And because it's hard to talk about, you have to talk about it to yourself. And in that moment, you feel on the hook, and you feel insufficiency. And that runs super deep with people. How do we get folks to trust themselves? And this is something you deal with all the time, which is it's not about more tactics. That the internet has become this sort of laundry list of, oh yeah, I read that blog post, only a paragraph of it, and I did this, and so why aren't I already successful? We have all the tactics we need. People have access to way more of this information than ever before, and yet we're not creating better work because it was never important to know that stuff. What was important is to believe that you have something to contribute.
Right, and to get someone to walk into that fearful moment.
Correct.
And these days, at a distance, without a personal meeting. Have you found ways of getting people to do that? Because, I mean, that's the essence of what I do in my academy. I often say I have many guises of courses, public speaking, broadcasting, business. But at the end of the day, I push people into their fears to realize they're stronger than they are, and they have a voice, and they walk out with confidence.
Right. So the marketer in me, who started to learn marketing from Jay Levinson and all the rest of my heroes years and years and years ago, wants there to be a top-down funnel. And in fact, there isn't. That the stuff I wrote about 10 books ago is the answer, which is the only way we're going to get more students is if our students get us more students. That it's the peer-to-peer connection in a low-trust world that leads culture to change. You don't change culture with the Super Bowl. Whether it's a Super Bowl ad or a Super Bowl halftime show, it has no impact whatsoever. But if one person in your neighborhood is driving a Tesla, the chances that their next door neighbor are going to think about driving a Tesla go up by a factor of 100, peer to peer. So all we do, and we have a tiny team, 7 or 8 people plus 100 coaches around the world, all we do is say, this group of 120 people, how much can we help them? How can we transform them? Because if we do, they will tell the others. It's this slow, organic thing that is way more frustrating than raising $100 million and blowing it on Super Bowl ads. But it's actually how you change the culture.
Make a great product, deliver wow, and then wait for them to tell other people.
And they will only tell other people if it helps them. They will not tell other people because it helps you. And that's a really big transformation. So the fax machine. The first person who had a fax, what did they do with it? Because you can't send a fax to yourself because you'll get a busy signal. What you have to do is tell everyone you know to go get a fax machine because then your life will be better. You don't do it to help Ricoh or Canon. You do it because your life is better if other people you work with have a fax or an email account or whatever it is. Well, the same thing is true with these kinds of transformations, which is if I want to be able to talk to you the way I learned to talk, I need you to go do it too, because otherwise you won't get where I'm going. So it's that selfish ratchet that's also generous because I want to help my friend. That's why people talk about it. And so sometimes people who make a product that they think of as perfect, right? Like, if someone makes a coffee mug that's better designed than any other coffee mug, that has Six Sigma quality. They say, why doesn't anyone talk about it? Well, the reason they're not talking about it is it doesn't help them to talk about your damn coffee mug, right? And if there was a reason that I needed to talk about your coffee mug because it would help my status, authority, or life, I'd be more likely to do it.
And so you're all MBA, ideally it's someone in a business that takes it and then says, wow, if my colleagues only could think this way, we could get a lot more done. Or is it also if my wife could think this way? Or like, how does that spread in the ideal world for you?
So the range has been a 16-year-old young woman, a 78-year-old woman from the Isle of Man, people who are poets and run nonprofits, people who work at Amazon, Microsoft, Chobani, name your favorite computer company or big company, and everything in between. So we called it the Alt MBA because I had a good 6-letter domain hanging around and I used it. Not the perfect name because of the Alt part and the MBA part, but when you mish it all together, at least it's something that's ours. But we don't teach anything you learn in an Alt MBA. That's in an MBA. That's the point. That the point is that the MBA teaches all of the wrong things. It teaches industrial compliance. It teaches adherence to things that you can read in a book. And what we're trying to do is say to people, you don't need any more tactics. We just want you to think differently. And we have found probably our biggest resonance, 45% of the people who take it get reimbursed by their company. But the people who go through it write to us, they're better parents, they're better spouses, they're better executives, they got promoted, whatever it is that was on their agenda. And a lot of them changed their agenda. They thought, I wanted to move up in this hierarchy, but I realized that's a trap, and I'm going to do this thing instead. So it's really disruptive at changing your perception of what you even want. And so I'm not going to pigeonhole it by demographics. We're really focused on psychographics. What almost everyone who takes it has in common is they say to themselves, there has to be more to it than this, whatever it is. There has to be more to life, more to work, more to my job, more to my company than what I have right now. If that's what you feel inside, this is for you. If you don't feel that way, I can't help.